Greetings to all my dear students. The video lesson that we are going to start today is note making and summarizing. So there will be two parts of this video. Today in the first part we are going to learn about note making. In the second part of this video we learn about summarizing. Now students, you have learned note making in the previous grade, that is in standard 11th 2. But now for this year, there are certain changes that have been made in the marking scheme. So note making as usual, it will be in total of 8 marks, but now 4 marks will be allotted for notes and 4 marks for summarizing. In standard 11th, in last year, there was 5 marks for note making and 3 for summarizing, but now according to the new marking scheme, 4 marks for making notes and 4 marks for summarizing. Now for making notes, you will get 1 mark for suitable title, 1 mark for using proper abbreviations and symbols, and 2 marks for the main body of notes, that is if you write all the points and sub-points correctly. Now let me tell you about our learning objectives. Means what are you going to learn in this video. So here you will learn to define note making. You will be able to tell what is note making and what is its purpose. Second, you can list important features of notes, and thirdly, you will be able to create a note that will give you full marks in exams. Now before I go to the part note making, let me make you familiar or aware of two terms, two very important terms that you need, or rather they are skills that you need to have before making notes. Now first one is skimming. Skimming means to read quickly, to read the text quickly to get the general idea of text. Now why is it important? You will read the text, and if the text is already divided into 3 to 4 paragraphs, that is well enough. If it is not, you can quickly divide your entire passage into 3 to 4 paragraphs and based on the similarity of content. Second word is scanning. Scanning means to look quickly for one thing. Now this one thing can be a scientific term, a particular date, a terminology, anything that is important, a word that is very important from the point of view of your passage. Skimming is done when you want to read something quickly to get a general idea. Now skimming can be done when you want to see whether a book is good enough or not, or when you just want to go through a newspaper article. Here, for the purpose of note making, skimming is very important because it will help you to find first the title of the passage if it is not given, and secondly it will help you to divide the entire passage into feasible parts according to the similarity of content. So for skimming, what you have to do, you have to read the opening and closing lines of the paragraphs, first line and last line of each paragraph you have to read. Then you have to look at any graphic features or illustrations if they are given. If title is given, of course you will read that. That is too a part of skimming. For scanning, what you have to do, you have to look for keywords. Now these keywords can be terms such as demonetization, globalization and so on. You have to look for bold print, words that are written in bold and words that have been written in italics. You have to look for words in larger font sizes because they might be important from the point of view of text. And also you have to look for bulleted information if it is given in the passage. Any numbers, any data if it is given, that also you need to read. Now what is note making? Note making is a special skill useful to both students and working professionals. You have been always taking notes in the class. Note making enables one to present large chunk of information in a brief, organized and clear manner. Now students, you can make notes in the form of mind maps, flow charts, tree diagrams, but the format of making notes that has been prescribed by CBSE is point form, and that is the method of making notes that we are going to learn in this video. So we'll go with making notes in the form of points. Now, note making has important uses. We can remember important details. When we listen to information, we can retain it for a very short period of time. If we make notes in an organized way, we can always remember important details and refresh our memory, revise it whenever we want to. We can prepare for examinations, something that students have been doing for so long. You can take notes in the classroom and you can prepare for your exams. We can plan essays, speech and lectures, and participation in discussions and debates can be done. Now, note making is a practical skill. You have been doing it even when you were not taught the skill of note making, and you will be doing it for the entire life. And unlike most of the concepts that you read, it will be useful for you in your lifetime. Now, in examination, when you get your question paper, note making is always on the second number. So it is question number 2 usually. Students spend a lot of time making notes, an hour or so. Still, they are not able to get full marks in notes. This is the query, this is the problem of most of the students. So now we are going to see the do's and don'ts of note making, what you should do and what you should not do in order to get good marks in note making. Now, the first thing that you need to do is to manage your time. Most of the students waste 1/3 of their total examination times in making notes, and then they are left with no time for rest of the sections. So note making is a skill. And how can you manage time? Of course, by doing rigorous practice. Any skill can only be improvised by rigorous practice. So you need to do some mock drills before you appear for your exam. So practice note making at least once or twice before sitting for your examination. Notes are always brief and written in third person. Sometimes students what they do in exam, their notes are even lengthier than the passage that is given to them. That should not be done. So ideally notes should be contained within 1 to 1.5 page. Only relevant details or facts are included. No need to copy paste the entire passage. That is why you'll do skimming and scanning. Correct? Third one, all information must be presented in a logical sequence. Your sub points must be describing your sub points, and your sub points must be describing your main points, and all the main points should be related to the title of the notes. So this relation, this logical sequence has to be there. Fourth one, title should be provided which should summarize the passage. You should remember, students, that title is the shortest possible summary of a passage, and 1 mark will be awarded out of 4 for writing title. Now, some guidelines regarding title. Title should not be very lengthy. 4 to 5 words, it is the ideal length. And first letter of title should be capitalized, and you can underline it, the title, using a ruler and a pencil. Students, indenting should be followed to make the main points and sub points visible separately. Here you can see in the image how indenting is done. When you write the main point and when you write the sub points, they should not be written directly below to the main point. Abbreviation and symbols which are easily recognized should be used. 4 to 5 abbreviations are usually used in the notes. Key to abbreviations should be made separately. In the end, you will construct a box. In that you will write key to abbreviations, then you will write all the abbreviations. Here in the image, numbering is not done. You will also do numbering when you are writing key to abbreviations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Illustrations, diagrams, long explanations are excluded. No need to write them. full sentences are not used. You need not take full grammatically correct sentences. Instead, you can use phrases which are not grammatically correct but understandable. You don't have to write anything on the left side of the margin except question number. So you write question number 2, and apart from that, the numbering that you have to do for main, sub and sub points, you need to write those numbers on the right side of the margin. Otherwise, it is very confusing that which is the question number, which is the numbering of the points, and also indenting cannot be done properly that way. Notes should not be very lengthy. Use maximum 5 to 6 main points. Your main, sub and sub points should be short phrases of 6 to 7 words each ideally. For example, if the sentence is the medicine industry has developed in past 10 years. Now it can be shortened, it can be contracted and written as MDCN, it is an abbreviation for medicine, INDST for industry, DEVPD developed past 10 years. So you see how we shorten or how we contract our sentences to turn them into understandable short phrases. Now how you number your main, sub and sub points, that is totally up to you. Only it should be logical and understandable. But ideally main points can be represented by numbers such as 1, 2, 3 or capital letters such as capital A, capital B, capital C. For sub points you can use 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 or lowercase alphabets such as small a, small b, small c. For sub points, they can be represented by numbers such as 1.1.1, 1.2.1, or if you want to use alphabets, you can use lowercase alphabets a.1, small a.2, small a.3, like that. Now we have read all the theoretical portion related to note making. Now let's make notes related to one passage. So here is one passage given, the sun. Now since it's a small passage and it is already divided into 4 paragraphs. So let us read the passage now. We'll do skimming to get a quick idea of the passage. What is the passage about? The sun forms a very important part of the solar system. The sun is not solid like the earth. Instead, it is composed of plasma. As a result, the sun rotates faster at its equator than its poles. It takes about 25 days to complete one rotation at the equator and 33 days to complete one rotation at its poles. The major elements that constitute the sun are hydrogen and helium. It is also composed of other elements like iron, nickel, oxygen, etc. Now, second paragraph. The visible surface of the sun is called the photosphere. It heats up to a temperature of about 6000 Kelvin. The core of the sun, however, has a temperature exceeding 13 million Kelvin. The sun also has strong magnetic field. This is responsible for effects such as sunspots, solar flares, etc. The sun is a life force for Earth. The light from the sun is essential for all living beings. It aids in the process of photosynthesis for plants. It also helps in the production of vitamin D. However, excessive exposure to sunlight can create serious damage in the form of sunburn, cancer, etc. Last paragraph. The sun has also been an important cultural symbol throughout the history. The ancient Egyptian god Ra, for example, was considered the god of the sun. So now we have gone through the passage. It is about sun and various aspects of sun. First, sun and astronomy, about planets. Second is about related to temperature. Third is that why sun is important for life on earth. And fourth is about cultural importance. So now we got a rough idea related to the passage. Now we'll look for keywords. We'll do scanning, and then what we are going to do, take out your pencil and you will highlight all the important parts in all the paragraphs. Now here in this passage you can see that we have highlighted all the important points after doing skimming and scanning. So after highlighting the important points, for highlighting you can always keep a pencil and underline the important points. Here title has already been assigned. If you will be told to assign a suitable title to the passage, what you have to do, you have to read all the paragraphs and you have to see that what is the entire passage about. So here it is clearly visible that the passage is about sun. So here if you are told to assign another suitable title to the passage, what can be? It can be sun, its different aspects. So likewise you have to assign a suitable title to the passage which should be about all the paragraphs of the title. The title should be related to all the paragraphs of the given passage. Now for assigning our main points, title we have already chosen. Now we have to assign the main points. So this passage is already divided into 4 paragraphs. Now we'll see separately what each paragraph talks about. So that will be the heading or main point of each paragraph. So let's see about the first paragraph. Sun forms a very important part of solar system. Sun is not solid like the earth, composed of plasma, rotates faster at its equator than its poles and major elements. So here we get to see different scientific facts about the sun. So the first main point that can be assigned is facts of the sun. Likewise, the second paragraph, it talks about features of the sun. Third paragraph talks about the relation between sun and living beings, and the fourth paragraph, it talks about sun and culture. So these 4 things become our main points and the details related to them will become our sub points. Now this is how we arrange our main sub and sub points. The title has to be written in the center and first word, at least first letter of each word in the title should be capitalized, it should be underlined. Now our first main point is about the sun. As we have discussed earlier, there are 4 sub points, forms 98% of total mass of solar system, not solid like earth, made of plasma, rotates faster at equator than poles, and rotation period. Now students, one thing you notice that for rotation period we have some more important information, that at the poles it needs 33 days and at the equator it needs 25 days. So likewise, if you have some more information related to any sub points, you should use sub points there. So that is the use of sub points. So once or twice you should use sub points, not in the entire passage. Now regarding numbering, here we see how did we do the numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4 we have used for main points. For sub points we have used for point number 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 and 1.4. For sub points we have used 1.4.1, 1.4.2. And indenting also, you have to be very careful. This is a very common mistake that the students make. They do not follow indenting. See how the information has been presented in the form of a staircase. How the main, sub and sub points are distinctly visible from each other. So you have to take care of that. Also you have to highlight the abbreviations that have been used. You see I've used here at least 4 to 5 abbreviations. You have to highlight them. For that, what you can do, you can underline them with a pencil and a ruler. Last but not the least, you have to make the table for key to abbreviations. For that, you have to construct a table using a pencil and a ruler. Then what you have to do, you have to do the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write down the abbreviations or symbols, whatever you have used, and then write the full form of each abbreviation or symbol. This is quite important. You have 1 mark for abbreviations and symbols in the exam. So if you miss this, you're going to lose 1 mark. So this is quite important. Now you need not write all the key to abbreviations in block letters as shown in the video. You can write those in running hand. So this is it regarding note making. Your assignment is there along with this video, or there would be an attachment, you can find it. And summarizing we will discuss in the next video. So this is it for today. Thank you.